which I think leads really well into the reporting that Ken Klippenstein recently did at The Nation. There was obviously weeks and weeks of protesting in Portland, protests that still continue to this day. Federal agents, I think if we can get that pulled up, Gavin.
Yeah.
One moment. But if I'm not mistaken, Ken Klippenstein at The Nation basically reported that Homeland Security has basically lied about the full extent of its intelligence operations in Portland. And, surprise, surprise, shocker there. Gavin.
Yeah, it's totally crazy that, instead of, and this really just proves the whole need for the protest movement, instead of pursuing actual crimes or, not that obviously cops don't solve crimes and help people. They do that as a fraction of their job description. But, instead of actually pursuing white nationalists, domestic terrorism, the cops, Homeland Security, whatever, they're going after protesters, BLM, these organizations, which, aren't really even organizations. Let's be honest. They're more like umbrellas, organizations that have factions across the country. Same with like Antifa. There's not really any one like Antifa cell that controls everything. So the fact that they're like spying on these, protest and justice organizations or movements as if they're these highly, controlled, highly calculated, intel operations or something is ridiculous, because it really is just activism. It's nothing more than that. It's not like these are domestic terrorists or whatever. And if anything, it's the crazy, Proud Boys that are descending on the streets of Portland, and the right-wing madness, the Kyle Rittenhouses of the world that are really the terrifying thought in my mind, especially as we get closer and closer to election day, as the tensions ramp up. And obviously that's the biggest problem here, is that our president is, not only failing to do anything meaningful on the racial justice level, but he's also just, his rhetoric is so divisive and he's so polarizing that he keeps pouring gasoline on this fire and making it worse. And, everyone.
I mean, it's kind of coming and going, right? So we have the United States Department of Homeland Security and internal intelligence agencies, according to their own, officials, violating people's rights, as the two whistleblowers claim in the piece by Ken Klippenstein. And you look down here, it's like, for the mission to go to Portland, they asked for volunteers and nobody wanted to go, the former intelligence officer said. The fact that they asked for volunteers shows that it was outside of the scope of their duties. You only do that if you don't have the ability to order someone to go, probably because it's illegal. Certainly because it's illegal, right? You cannot rank but the intelligence community is so accustomed to getting away. They never get punished. They never see any blowback for any kind of, it's kind of like Wall Street. Like, they use fraud as a business model, rake in fucking billions and billions of dollars and get a slap on the wrist fine that ends it out being net profitable, right? Okay, so Obama's going to slightly reel back in the domestic spying powers, or at least pretend to, after the Snowden leaks in 2013, with like a new, whatever it was, Defend American Freedom Act, or whatever the fuck the bullshit name of that, response leaks, when everybody freaked out and was like, holy shit, you're metadata.
Yeah.
Which they're still doing.
Yep. And the crazy thing with this whole protest police movement is that, like, the cases of George Floyd and Breonna Taylor in particular, and Jacob Blake for that matter, are just three of the absolute most clear-cut, black and white, no denial there as far as these police brutality cases. It's like they were made in a lab to convince people of the need for this protest movement. Straight up cold-blooded murder, no questions asked, and all, on video, no good excuse. No resistance of arrest, nothing like that. Just straight up cold-blooded murder on the street by feds. And, this is less undeniable than anything that happened under the Ferguson movement, probably. It's like, there's no...
And nothing's happening.
Nothing's happening.
And honestly, this is one of those things where, this is one of those things where I'm more sympathetic to the idea that maybe Joe Biden wouldn't be as fucking difficult about this. Like, I think that he will, and this is why, again, it's on the fucking margins, but this is where I think that Joe Biden does make a bit of a difference, in my view, and what I'll be reminding myself of when I, think about it, the whole time, like, fucking plugging my nose and thinking like, okay, well, maybe when people protest, they won't get charged with sedition. They'll just get put in jail for like one night, there's going to be, and that's not nothing, because there are, I mean, we've both been out on protests and seen it happen. It's, the people who are getting arrested. Those people don't have money for bail. That's why we have bail funds, but the government is going to tie these people up for long after those bail funds become politically popular. And when you start talking about really, really serious charges like sedition, that whole, massive prison sentences, ruining people's lives. I think that that's obviously Trump hasn't, gone full way there.